This podcast is brought to you by The Senior Techie, a source of information for seniors and others about technology. So, usually on this show we're talking about convenience, maybe some entertainment, but today is different. We're looking at a stack of articles from The Senior Techie that are all about resilience, specifically how tech has become this genuine safety net for seniors during big winter storms and power outages.
It's a really vital distinction to make. I mean, for a 20-year-old, a blackout it's an annoyance.
Right, an excuse to light some candles.
Exactly. But for a senior, or really anyone who relies on medical devices, it's a high-stakes environment. What the Senior Techie is talking about here isn't just keeping the lights on. It's about maintaining a baseline of safety when the grid fails.
Yeah, and they break it down really cleanly into before and during. So looking at the prep phase, there's this interesting mix of, high-tech and almost no-tech advice.
It starts with the basics, of course.
Charge everything, your smartphone, tablets, and they really hone in on portable power banks.
Yeah.
But the tip that stood out to me was about offline data.
Oh, yeah. That's the one everyone forgets. We're just so used to the cloud, But when the internet goes down, so does your access to phone numbers, medical records. Everything. So the advice is simple. Download your emergency contacts. Download those essential files locally to your device. That way, if cell towers are jammed or Wi-Fi is dead, the data is right there with you.
Okay, speaking of data, let's talk about an app called Ting. The Senior Techie highlights this one, and it sounds a little like magic. Real-time outage alerts without any hardware in your house. How does that even work?
It's actually really clever. So instead of a sensor in your living room, Ting is looking at the bigger picture. It aggregates data from across the electrical grid to monitor the stability of entire neighborhoods.
So it's like crowdsourcing grid health.
That's a perfect way to put it. Get a notification if an outage is spreading towards you, and that gives you that critical 10 or 15-minute heads up to act before the lights actually go out.
And if you get that warning, that's your cue for the preheat strategy. This is a smart home hack they mentioned, but it's really just physics, isn't it?
Right. You use your smart thermostat to crank the heat up a few degrees an hour before the storm is predicted to hit. You're essentially using your walls, your furniture, as a thermal battery. You're banking that heat.
And then you trap it in with smart blinds.
Exactly. Set them to close at sunset, and you can keep a home surprisingly comfortable for hours after the power cuts, all without touching your backup energy.
Let's pivot to the hardware, the medical side. I think the biggest anxiety point the Senior Techie identified is about medical alert systems. There's this huge fear that they just go dead.
And that's a common misconception. Most of these systems, as the Senior Techie points out, are built with redundancy. They often connect to phone lines that have their own power source, or more commonly now, they have built-in backup batteries.
And they let the company know.
They do. When it switches to backup, it automatically pings the monitoring center. So the operators know you're on battery power and they can check in.
Okay, but what about the really heavy draw devices? I'm thinking of things like CPAP machines. The research points to portable power stations, and they even mention a model, the River 3 Plus. Why that over a generator?
Well, it really comes down to safety and the environment you're in. A gas generator gives off carbon monoxide. It has to be outside.
And you can't run a cord through an open window in a blizzard.
Not easily, no. A portable power station is just a big silent battery, no fumes. It can sit right by your bed. For a CPAP user, that is the difference between sleeping safely or, risking apnea.
I saw a technical term here, UPS, uninterruptible power supply. Is that a standard feature?
On the good ones, yes. And it's critical. It means the switch from grid power to battery power happens in under 10 milliseconds.
Yeah.
So if you have a computer or a sensitive medical device plugged in, it won't even flicker.
That's amazing. But the Senior Techie also includes a really stern warning when it comes to heating. I think a lot of people just assume, I've got a big battery, I'll just plug in my space heater.
And that is a huge trap. Heating elements use a massive amount of energy. Even a large power station will be drained in an hour, maybe two. It's just not practical. And from a pure safety standpoint, if you absolutely must use one, it has to have those automatic shutoff sensors for overheating and tip-overs.
And the golden rule.
Never, ever plug a space heater into an extension cord. It's a primary cause of house fires. And while we're on it, since people often turn to fireplaces, it's non-negotiable to check your smoke and carbon monoxide detectors. Put fresh batteries in them.
It seems like the big theme here isn't just about buying more gadgets. It's about a strategy.
That's exactly. It's about confidence. This technology gives seniors a plan. It allows them to weather a storm, not just by enduring it, but by actively managing the situation. You aren't helpless.
Which brings up a final thought, I guess. We spend so much time prepping our physical homes, with insulation, batteries, food. But in an emergency, information is just as critical. Maybe we need to start thinking about our digital prep offline maps, contact lists, a medical history on a USB drive as being just as essential as that loaf of bread and a jug of milk. This podcast was brought to you by The Senior Techie. It's available on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify. If you'd like to keep up with their newsletters, you can subscribe for free by going to theseniortechie.com.